The ayes are 89, the noes are 32. Clause 2 will stand part. Now debating Clause 3. Claire Curran. Big voice, please.
It's been a long night, Mr Chair. Thank you, Mr Chair. Clause 3, which is the Principal Act, the Act amends the Telecommunications Act 2001, which is the Principal Act. Well, this amendment is an amendment to an amendment of the 2001 Telecommunications Act, which was passed in 2011.
Sorry?
And, well, the 2011 amendment, which was around the changes to the TDL, where the imposition of a levy was made on telecommunications provided. Very happy for you to take a call, Mr Williamson. That would be quite useful. I'm sure that would further the debate. And which is where the $10 million gross revenue, which is where which imposed the levy on telecommunications provider who received a minimum of $10 million gross revenue annually. And that levy was established to contribute to the cost for the matters, and I think they've been well canvassed tonight, Mr Chair, but they were around non-urban telecommunications infrastructure. So this is infrastructure in rural New Zealand. And I don't think anyone has argued about that and has a differing view around the purpose of what the TDL was for, that we need more infrastructure for rural broadband. And we think that's a good thing. But the matter at hand is around how this amendment tonight, which is going through under all its stages under urgency, and where it came from, which is what this clause is about, the Principal Act, is what it actually is intended to do, and the way in which it's being done. And that is the issue that the Labour Party has with this piece of legislation before the House. And I'm hoping that the other parties in the House tonight have had enough of the debate canvassed for them to be clear about the strength of the views that have been espoused on this side from the Labour Party around why it's so important that when an amendment is going through that actually imposes a new levy, a tax, which the departmental report has been very clear about, that this is a tax, that is actually a significant matter that should not just be allowed to pass without due process. And there are so many other things sitting behind this around the Rural Broadband Initiative version 1, whether or not it has actually been successful, and here we are voting on an amendment to provide more money for version 2. And the lack of evidence, the lack of process, and the lack of accountability from the government, which has expended that money in that $300 million in the past 5 years for a program that they're now planning to refund. In the meantime, Mr Chair, there are many other ways that the lack of rural broadband is being dealt with throughout New Zealand, which again members have talked about tonight. Communities that are actually trying to do it for themselves and are doing it in conjunction with rural local providers and doing it more successfully and bypassing the scheme that is being funded by the government because it's just not working. And here we are about to commit another $150 million for, in the same vein, with no scrutiny, with no evidential base, and with even the regulatory impact statement telling us that there's no achievement of the policy directives relating relating to it because they haven't been evaluated. So it seems to me, Mr. Chair, that it would be irresponsible and even negligent to actually approve this bill.
Chair. The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.